have declared here is a total assault on gangs in Jamaica. I want that to be clearly understood. Operationally, they must go after every gang in Jamaica. The gangs that have been identified as being directly responsible for this action are connected with other gangs. And so we must pull the thread to where it leads. So today, every gang leader should take with themselves. To those persons who may want to take matters into their own hands, who may want to go out and on their own seek reprisals, if you do that, you then become of interest to us, and you are a part of the problem and not the solution. Leave these matters to the security forces to address. They will be addressed swiftly and by the law. As I pointed out, the last time I described an act as an act of terror was the killing in St. James in Salt Spring. At that point, I committed that we would move all the resources to finding the perpetrators. Within weeks, we did, and I'm not giving myself weeks. I've said to the DCP Bailey that we must start to see results very soon.
It's a territory lane where we had a mass murder last night. So we're both on foot, joined military patrols. When we saw men on bikes, they were stopped. One of the men had a bag on his shoulder. They ran. The bag was thrown. We retrieved, and the bag was found to contain a firearm. All 4 men at this time are in our custody.
I was shocked when I drove through unencumbered. I came here and it was unencumbered, no checkpoints, nothing at all. We were expecting that the state would send out persons to assist with grief counseling. We just saw the mother of one of the deceased crying. We need to do better as a country. As she's connected to 3 of the persons who died.
Not to console by her daughter?
Yes.
So as a member of parliament, what are you putting in place now for grief counseling since you're the first
Well,
president?
we are doing assessments now.
Yes.
And now we came and realized that the state has not done their duty. Then we now have to probably step in and do our duty and to assist the state further. But the reality is that we should not be here now in this community after such an incident. Right? There's one shooting that took place there, and there's another one that took place around the road. It's not a one. It make it sound as if it's one incident. It's a series of incidents leading to the loss of lives. The callous actions of the criminals who just came in and indiscriminately fired shots at people. This can't continue.
So you're not satisfied with the actions of police in this community?
Right now, are you?
I'll just come.
Are you? Yes or no? You see the place for yourself. Nobody's
when
here.
we came here, police were here now.
But they should be stationed here for the next couple of days. At the very least, a curfew should be in place by now, restricting movement in and out, securing crime scenes, securing the scenes, securing the residents. I mean, come on, man. This is unacceptable.
About 9 p.m., a group of citizens from the Cherry Tree Lane community of Fort Park, Clarendon, were assembled at a car wash playing bingo when a group of men approached and opened fire, killing 8 persons, including an 8-year-old boy and 3 females. 9 persons, including a 1-year and 9-month-old baby, were shot and injured and are at the hospital. It is an unfortunate and brutal incident, one that I think borders on terrorism, because I think this act is to instill fear and to intimidate the community. The police is committed to ensure that justice is done, and we are using all our resources to ensure that the perpetrators are found and face justice. We are at an early stage of our investigation. The scene is currently being processed. Consequently, I will not say much more. But we promise this country and this nation that we are going to get to the bottom of this, and those who are responsible will face justice.
That persons overseas are involved and connected in this act. We know that persons who are incarcerated presently have connections in this act. We know that multiple gangs are connected and involved in this act. Every gang, every person who in any way facilitated, provided the arms, or were involved and pulled the trigger themselves, we will find you and we will bring you to justice. I want that to be absolutely clear. We will not treat this as another criminal act. We will treat this as an act of...
There are some people who feel that the gangs protect communities and that the only way they're going to get any protection is to join the gangs. But I think what has happened here shows that the gangs don't protect communities. You know, it is a really evil mind that people are at a party and you would take that M16 assault rifle. This is a weapon of war. M16 round can kill up to a distance of a mile away. It has the ability to penetrate metal sheeting. You know, it's a very powerful weapon, and if used indiscriminately, can cause serious damage. And we have seen it here that for someone to use a weapon of war on an innocent civilian population, it's just a level of evil that we can't countenance. As I talk to young men in particular who are most of the victims of crime and also the perpetrators, I have to point out to you that the gangs are a plague on our society. They don't mean you any good. So this notion that the Jamaican population, some members of the Jamaican population have that somehow, gangs are as a result of poverty or poor circumstances, that's not the case. An M16 rifle is not cheap. Ammunition is not cheap. To rent the car or own the car is not cheap. To pay people to do this is not cheap. Back to school time, they could have used that money to send a number of children back to school, but instead they chose to use it to take lives. So my own sentiment is that we should have no sympathy for gangs and we must destroy them. And the destruction of the gangs come when communities decide that we are not going to give them any space. Right? And what's the space that they have? The space is not the room that they live in. The space is not being able to go to the bar and take what they want. The space is that nobody is going to talk. Is to announce that we will give $400,000 to assist persons in the recovery from the total loss of their homes. $150,000 for severe damage and $50,000 for minor damage. And mind you, this is from the government of Jamaica alone. Even with inflation, what we are giving now is substantially more than what was given in 2004 or in 2012 when Hurricane Sandy hit. When Hurricane Sandy hit, it was $60,000 for total or severe damage, $30,000 for minor damage. In Hurricane Ivan, it was $20,000 for severe or total damage, $7,500 and $10,000 for severe damage, $5,000 for minor damage.
I have declared here is a total assault on gangs in Jamaica. I want that to be clearly understood. operationally, they must go after every gang in Jamaica. The gangs that have been identified as being directly responsible for this action are connected with other gangs. And so we must pull the thread to where it leads. So today, every gang leader should take with themselves. Those persons who may want to take matters into their own hands, who may want to go out and on their own seek reprisals, if you do that, you then become of interest to us, and you are a part of the problem and not the solution. Leave these matters to the security forces to address. They will be addressed swiftly and by the law. As I pointed out, the last time I described an act as an act of terror was the killing in St. James in Salt Spring. At that point, I committed that we would move all the resources to finding the perpetrators. Within weeks, we did, and I'm not giving myself weeks. I've said to the DCP Bailey that we must start to see results very soon.